Tashidele, Khenchen la, Khenpo la, Lama Gongchik la, all translators into different languages, Vietnamese, Russian, Chinese, Spanish, and German. Welcome everybody to this wonderful teaching again today. So let's start with the program with the My Manala offering.
Tâm hoàn toàn giải thoát khỏi những ràng buộc của chân và huyễn, siêu vượt danh tự và các tướng của sinh diệt và trụ, siêu vượt đi và đến, lấy và bỏ mạnh Đà La tối thượng chính là cảnh giới tâm nguyên sơ. Chúng con xin dâng cúng tất cả và qua đó nguyện cho chúng con được gia hộ để đạt đến cảnh giới Phật. Om Ruru Dewa Dakini Rasna Mandala Pratita Soha.
Complete.
I'm not spotlighter. Completely liberated from the bound of real and unreal, transcending the name and attribute of arising, cessation, and abiding, coming and going, affirmation and denial. The supreme mandala is the natural state. By offering it, may I be blessed to attain the state of Buddhahood. Om Guru Ratna Diwa Dakini Ratna Mandala Pratisha Soha.
Sanje Judan Soji Jonam Lai Chanchu Padu Dane Japsunji Dagi Jinso Jimbe Zonamji Dola Benji Sanje Dumbar Sho Sanje Judan Soji Jonam Chanchu Padu Dane Japsunji Dagi Jinso Jimbe Zonamji Dola Benji Sanje Dumbar Sho.
The ultimate until the attainment, I take refuge to the Buddha Dharma and Supreme Assembly. By the merits of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
Ma nam ga dan nyam be sam chen tam che deva dan deven ju dan dembra ju je dong e dan dong e ju dan debra ju je dong e be deva dan men debra ju je nye ren cha dan nye dan cha dan nyum la nebra ju ma nam ga dan nyam be sam chen tam che Deva dan deve judan demba juru je dunga dan dunga je judan trebra juru je dunga mebe dewa minterva juru je nyeren chada nit tarve danyum la nebra juru je.
May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Chanze wadan jujen shaba dan jesu yerang gujen suwa ye gewa jungse dagi jesa tamche zobe chanchu chemburu.
Whatever slight virtues are accumulated through prostration, offering, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and requesting, I dedicate it all for the sake of complete enlightenment.
Sa je beju juje me do ran re len je ne de jemban de sanje shendu me de purwai Droge namdo shendu jebar shu gozo yonzo lame zonam la chena sansum de shen ni jen chu Dalu longju nasi yung ye la men joge ngudu zardu zu wang guru dewa rakin rena mendala barde za zo.
The ground is sprinkled with scented water and stained with flower. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the four continents, and the sun and the moon. As a Buddha feel I offer it, may all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddhahood. To the lamas who possess the three kayas, I offer the outer, inner, and the secret offerings with my body, wealth, and all that is visible. Please grant me the supreme realization enlightenment.
Samje namje sambadha loye chedra jedrawa chechung timong tebai chejeng golo so.
Please turn the wheel of Dharma of the greater and lesser vehicle and the teaching common to both according to the disposition and mental capacity of the sentient beings.
Gongchik gurve janzu jesu rongchen gara gawa le dhawran zebe gaju rinpoche jeba nambra tabe jenjen chenlab je chuju jatsu chenbe yandra se meje je molam ja chewa yunruwa lanje drube druje rimma mebe lama tamba namla cha zarjen chudu jebsun jevo chenje labran zedo so. Dorjin changwan de lo naro da mamada ba borin jiden go gaden sunden zawe lama shawo zaju lama yedam juzong la. Surwan de zo da ju chenje lo chenze nga da den ba do sanje gandar mongo barden lama ra shar tuji ran yin tarbe lam damba. Yongzen shinye nang la gu jan zar la da la me mam je wangbo dang jarjin la su chu je cho la jawa je ba nam san je son ra rab du shi shen de we ju jiru de dan chi je tam be chu nyen bar yan dri shi shi nam ga dan nyam be sim je tam je je tun du to ja lan nam me bar yang ta bro zo be san ji ji kum bang tam ba chin de jang to bro cha. 대체도 담배추 삼물라 출진도 주버 지워 냠베 삼바찬 춘초도 레브레서는데 셈브르슈 텔란들 간식 셈브르체베 추데 테네 다탄다 담배추 공바지웨기 용 어테니 임바레다 텔라양 테네 좀된 예벤나네 테네 간조 좀다 주바 다금주베 좀 텐데 시버르치베 갑 대임바레
For the sake of all sentient beings, try to, in order to get enlightenment, for the sake of all sentient beings, and try to get, listen for the Gongchik with the altruistic mind, and so forth. And here we have 7 units of the Gongchik, and we are here right now at the unit, the vital point of the view, meditation, and conduct. That's all.
Yeah, all this. 다 되네. 공직이 다 좀 다금 주변 안에 되는 것도 돌송대 다 배치 돌송 쭉지 받으러와
Larila.
제발랑도 잡아 추템세 데려와 데려에 또바 컴버치바 곰바
Chukchibarela.
또바 컴버치바 곰바테세 데려에 제발 거들 가는 제발와
Chukchibadiravala. Chukchibade.
제가 쭉지 제발랑도 잡아 추템인세 데려वे라 야라서 다 죽지 봐. 다 단다 쥐배고로 쓴 거여와. 다 가생 드네 쥐배갑라 곰세야 된거 주는다와. 당연도 남중 곰세르자네 지 surdu thane gomya yoba pandagu ji sanu tangirwa te mare ko to deba tegarang gomgurwa te komje cheyadla gombas te kasan shu simbache da tereng jeballandru tawa sutem se ta teimba jujiba da tende indu zane tane jeballandru tawa sutem so indu zane dila tane jiungge jeballandru tawa sutem se ga ko jigdang tene yang tumu mayin begi ji gongchik gi yang jebalando tawa sa ya tinni la ti si go mandawachi yungure. Guys, and Namju Jetangi, Namju Karasungu, you're saying Kebashandagi. That Juban Nane, Juban Tartuate, Landu Tawaters, Labduzane, Karilandu Targuresena, Tangmone and Tartu Jubala, Gewa Diresene, Laya Yomares, Diban de Regiresene, Paya Yomares, Tiduzane, Colandu Tamja Taware, Yachitat, and the Chitone, and the Shinangura. That under Chechu Gongchik on the chain to Zane, around so Tani, let Tambu Pekala Yinaenda. Tobegi nyamni chen tombola pewe kawina inda kangdarayang tadung dikpa lang chogu mares gewa tor chogu mares tendeshin nango inde lang se indu zane namjun keba shenda ge sundu zane ji jeban chebara jing jeban tombola ya pewe indu zane gewa lang ya meba dikpa tor ya meba as langdur chawa sungurwa tanda jidin sunggonge le thangboba ina inda toban tombola penken ina de suina yang tadung dibade lang chogu mares ngatawan tombo yu sene dibalana dig mares ngatawan tombo yu sene gewa tonan dig mares tindu tadung gedik langdulla shipranangu res tadi jumse karchene chayongre saying zane gewa dan dibasayate legi ngorwa 인도 전에 레세야티기 체주의 가르 참고로서나 흘러와 매바 세야 참고로 그런 게 체주 엄마데 자신이 참고를 내라 레세야티 마 데운 테이 마레 레게와단 디바 마젠케나 데우 데와다 도멘 테이 마레 티인도 레 마제바다 멘체바 세야 지당 제바이나 제바 추면서와 세야지 수위 제바이나요 대라 제부탁다 민게레세야 다 티인도 레세야들 자신이 되 참고래 마제바다 멘체바 제바 추면서와 세야 돼 티인도 전에 되네지 또베기 냠네 체 마올레 당부바 이나인다 또베 냠네 체 톰볼레 페딩게 이나인다 강들이야 레세야도 솔로 이나고 물루바지 인도 전에 되네 아 가두이나양 랑두르 타와지 구레스 디발랑와 타와 게와 토자다 타와 안도나 카레스나 데츠팀레스 게냥게 츠팀 게츠르고 츠팀 게롱고 츠팀 다 데스모 강야로마테 네버도 구레스 주바양 타발라 데마도 데네 베타완 통보 유스네트니 주반 담한다 제바이나 근데 주바양 타가 차금 말레스 데송바레
So here the 11th verses of Lord Gyaltsen maintains that the conduct that is free from adopting and rejecting is discipline. So usually here when we talk about the discipline, and also when we talk about the, like for example, the discipline that is kind of like avoiding, and one is the discipline which is to be accepted, right things to be accepted, and the avoid the non-virtuous things. So usually in general term, like many scholars, they stated that when you become a very kind of a high level of understanding and a very high level of study, we become out of, which is accepting and which is non-accepting. Beyond that means on the level of the emptiness. Whereas here in Gongchik, what it talks about is that it doesn't matter whether you have this or not. The point is whether you are a beginner or you are a highly realized person. The abandonment is an abandonment, and the one which should be practiced for the virtues should be the virtues. So usually what happens is sometimes people think that when you're in a high realized, state, then you are allowed to do something. But what Lord Jigten stated is there's no allowance for anybody if that is non-virtuous, even if you're in a high stage or in a high state. Why? Because whatever the virtues is virtuous at the same time, even at the level of the high state, in the same way as in the lower state. For example, you're the beginner, is the same for the beginner as well as the same for the high realized person, because it is the karma. So the karma will never deceive us, because once we have accumulated the causes and condition, the consequences is bound to happen. Doesn't matter whether you're beginners or you are the expert practitioners or you're on the high stage. So therefore, what Lord Jigten stated is the karma will not differentiate whether you are a highly realized person or lower person. It is bound to happen. If you have accumulated the causes, the consequences is bound to happen. So therefore, it is stated that we should always be like following the righteous path, or we should know that even if you practice non-virtues at the highest stage, then we have to face the consequences. So there is no excuse for everybody. So therefore, like whether you have like a novice vows, or you have a like upasak vows or whatever, so if that is non-virtuous, then it's non-virtuous, same non-virtuous for the like high realized person as well as for the beginners. So there's no differences between. So here, what Lord Jigten stated is there's no difference between the karma for the beginners and the higher state. Lasula.
German?
Lasula.
Okay. Yeah. 다 티인도 전에 되는 그만 제주 melegi 총도 되는 냐메 감보바 페베 갑라 되는 감보바라 다 담가 차상 나 제주 mel에 되는 또바 차상 원도 줄 되네 다 답으로 뭐지 봐 누르자 제순자야 그치도 되는 펜로 버와다 되는 제주 mel에 가르송 바르스나 다 출한 되네 지 야 산제 토비알 레와 먹어 차와 있는 양 당문에 지 또방문도 줄 서와 있는 양 다동 레 메게와 차싱 차원에 말하는데 게와 차싱 차원에 룹구레스 마도 어떤가 또반 저도 주변에 차례 산제 그만 토살텐도 게와 룹구에요 말에서 한도 근데 지야요 말에서 텐도 게와 차싱 차원에 룹구레스 게와 추문 룹구레스 대난신도 되는다던데 말 녀송라 로야게 되네 도바 짜와네 메바 차차와 있는 양 다동 메게와 차싱 차와는 점고레스 사합정 엄마데 테레송도와 티인도 전에 되네지 살람게 도바 카센 토와 있는 양 라동 게와 드야당 디바 빠야게 토라 콜랑들 파빠야데 메바 임바로와 티인도 랑드르당 뎀베게 되네 추팀라 네고레소 야든 레송도와 대지래 드네드나 진다다 로번 빼만 중내기 송지나 가르송요르스나 따위 제수 쩨바 마슈르와치 제고레스 쩨베 제수 따와 마슈르와치 제고레스 대송요레 대송도자는 가르송요르스나 먼저 따와서야 되라 지다 디 드루고레 디 빵고레 세야게 남도지 유사와이나 디 따와양다 차이마와 디인디 전에 따와텔라 랑두르 자와는 메바 게와 랑잔 데레세야 당 데과 도잔 데레세야 기고 남도 그 뚜바 탐제다 차와지 차와 이나양 쥐바야 디나신 전에 다 강정 먼저 제고 야보 통나 야보 도보 통나 도보 가리나 제자와 이나 Ziba go Mare Senatrin, Damanda Mambo Chejavaina, the Tawe Jesu Juba Shorwasa, the rest Yapu Mares. Tindusane, Tawe Jesu Juba Shorju Mares. Then Ajin Jube Jesu Yan Tawa Tsurshoya Yomarusundusane, Juba Layate Kaseine Yabu Chegures, Zumbu Chegures, Tumbu Chegures. Yinaya Tawaya Tinajin Chejavina, Tawa the Tulachagres, or Tende Indusane, then Kochi Tawa Tawe Tonem, Juba Jube Tonem, Koranji, Drumshi Jir, what in the jigsaw, so Tata Jigana, then Rotovajinangures, what in the Sondoa, the Indus that had a Tumbarchin and the Nijitan Songi, then Juba Landu the Tawada, Sutim, Yang Taba Neate, Juba Yashores, Noda Jay, you might Sumarda.
So then, and also here's one story that when during the time of Milarepa, and when Phamodrupa was, Phamodrupa has received all the pitch instructions from Milarepa, and he has enough practice, and also he was well stabilized on the meditation practice, and he is able to go for the further for his own practice and to help other sentient beings, to help for the other sentient beings. So that time when he was about to leave the master, and what the Milarepa said was that even if you almost become a Buddha, we should not like give up the small things like practicing the virtues and avoiding the non-virtues, because usually sometimes people think that we take when you feel that you're about to enlighten, then you feel that it's okay, whatever you do is okay. So what the Milarepa said is it's not okay. We should try to avoid the subtlest of the subtlest non-virtues, and also the non-virtues which can lead you to the downfalls. And also sometimes, like for example, if you are convinced that you will not go, you will not go for the downfall, even though you should not practice that, the subtle of the subtle non-virtues, but at the same time you should practice the subtle of the subtle virtues deeds. And also so therefore, and at the same time, the Guru Padmajuna from Sambhava also stated that one should not go after the views by one's own practice and one's own conduct, and also the view should not go after the conduct. The reason why is that even if you have a highest and highest view, you should not act as you have a highest view and you just act like whatever you like. So we should not act crazily, like thinking and taking into granted that you have the highest and highest view. And also, even if you have a highest and highest view, your character or your habits or your character or your conduct should be compromising with the society and so on and so forth. And at the same time, your view should not go after the conduct, because so here when you are having a highest and highest view, at the same time you try to compromise with the lower kind of view, then it doesn't work. So therefore what the Guru Padmasambhava stated, that one should not go one's own conduct after the view, and view should not go after the conduct. This is what it says. This means it stated that one's own practice should be one's own conduct should be go beyond which is to be accepted and which is to be avoided. So this is what it is needed. So in the middle way, we have to follow that. Our conduct should be beyond adopting and refusing, rejecting, and so forth.
Malas. Tatene Dijesu or Dosu Juniba, the Tagumjus on Tade Mebarji, son the Tayan di Carson Sutane, Nanto Tawa dan Gomba, Chupa Sayagi, Tatsixum the Tensum Yorova, Tindisane, Tagumjusum Sayadi, Kaka Imantochi. And then some of the Tiandi Mares, Tagumjusum, Nechila Papachi Gures, Conzo Tade Mares. Tade Mares on the Canderes on the Tawa de ta 가슴 공도 쉬바 난신 되네 고르와다 냥에는데 추 탐체데 랑게 섬게랑신바 샘대양 되네지 이메 자데 차제 친구랑신바 되네지 또버들 따와 송거와 나 된다고 따와 대라 양는 양도 되네 곰지 제바들 곰바스 마도 따와디 바 야네 젠다지 고미야 매버와 된드자네 Tawe Kang Tobate, Gombe te Gomgurda, de la Comdi Tengurwa. Then it Juba Sayatean, T Comdi te Garjen Royatan, Comdi de la Roba Chingi de la Juba Sagere. Nanzu Gombegi Pongden Sagurwa, Yarje Tanking, Cake Serwa, Tanzu Sama de Juba Zoyunguri, T Induzane, Tene Tawa dan Gomba, Juba Sumbote, Tademe Chibares. Indun di tene lobon ludugi karisumbaresan sutim mebra yang shera mebra yang sutim me songdo dedu kun nenga jiba imbi jum sene sutim yang tabaji me songina tawa yang tabaji jule jetu mares tawa yang tabaji jule je matu songina sutim yang tabaji chatu mares tindu kunsu nibote benangadun dinansin re singni de jigla jigdene ya langjawa nansin Kasi Xingni de ya Jigla Jipin Langjuna, Jig the Resona, Jig the Rendure, Jig the Resona, Jig the Rendura, in a Consuniga Marine, this day you want to Tarajico, the Shington Laya, Lega Karina, got the Lega and Duptura, or Tina Jane Duzane, and Tawa Gumba, Jiva Sumbote, Tade Meva, Ne Jiglam Baptubajigures, or Tisumbre.
The 12 Vajra verses. The view, meditation, and conduct are not distinct but one. So here, when it talks about the view, as we have stated that what is the view? View is the, like one could able to see the reality of the mind, ultimate reality of our mind. And one which familiarized, and one will go on and on, try to habituate with that understanding is the meditation. And also the conduct is the one which could able to try to develop or try to grow that view, which has been going on and on over again and again, developing that. And try to develop that, and try to avoid the obstacles, and then try to support or try to complement that kind of view is known as conduct. So therefore, it is also stated that the Nagarjuna stated that if there is no vows, we should not behave like the view without having the vows, and a vow without having the views. So these views and the vows has to go together. And these three things, the view, conduct, the view, meditation, and conduct, it has to go together, complementing each other or supporting each other. Like if there's a two wood like this, standing and supporting each other, if one falls off, then other will automatically fall down. In the same way, these three things, view, meditation, and conduct, these things are actually supporting each other like this. It has to go together. It has to support each other. It has to be integrated together. Therefore, it is stated that The view, meditation, and conduct are not distinct, but one. Lasula.
다 되네 대지라 돌지송 쭉송바 되게 차생 추름 내지 체벌 추송도와 단디 지된 송고 체주양 투망인 바시세 지단 공지 차상 체주래 대나네 체주 물도 템바 네단 대인바래 대인도 남중 가라서 다지 망보 지기 섬노 당당이나 인자 계제 시단라 네 카레요레 센두 네 차자 진보 스두전에 빼 사보지 담아이나야 토비아칼레 카보 소소군의 냠낸 제양 칼레 카보 계시지 냠낸디 제투바이나 데네다 베지 인데우 체 통보지 토야 이번나 신선도 당으로 저는 텐데로와 데네 추름 세인도전에 다지 라버도 먼저 게출 게니 게론라서 그 추름 소스터베 추름 세도전에 데네야 고랑기 지금 오대야 때에서 마운도지 소야야 다지 근데 그 우전에 송데 거야라고지 어떻게 전에 추점 세인도전에 고지 죽자 좋은 로지를 먼저 조여로 대존도 자신의 추점이보데 모카가 젤레카가 데부카가 다 되지 좀 방기르다 다 단단 되는 지된 송공기 송 단지된 송공기 송바양제 조거 산지 좀 된데지 송바양제 대인도 가르 송바르서는 착친의 추점이보다 내가지 바래서 도단 라냠을 송바다 차진서야 따외기 차는리 주름서야 주배기 차는 송용비율이 대인도 전에 된대게 따주니고 세거나인다 야나 차진의 주름이 세거나인다 디니보티 네 지바레스 펜나 잔 남칼은 부르기 쇼바 예연나진레 송거래 아 자질라 계시 펜나 쇼바 예바다부시 야부유 연바다부테 지다 졸라차도 되네 지인바이나 고 남칼은 부르야 섬다래 대난신 연바 야부유 예바 야부메나 남칼은 부르야 섬다로와 포르투말와 대지르다 남칼라 빼지 깔레 메바 데오지는 부르구요나 쇼바 예연 이바 니가데 누반 라냠이 바직당 근데 졸라 마차와지 양다바지 구요로 빼티나신 전에 따웨게 돈에 착친게 따와 또바 텐데 줄에 니데베게 따와지 예베게 땡도 근데 주베게 차네 아 소소다르베게 추름 양다바 여denken지 만탈라양 게니게 추름 양다발라 네denken지 텐데지 구요레 스탠더고 차친도 추름 니데 직 송절게 돈은 냠순내 도바이나 근데 제부 산지게 공방서야 답되고 차용그레스 디지도 전에 차진도 수렴 예보데 탈도 김밥사 찍라 밥고레스 뭐야 지바레 차진양 메게와 빵와 게웨게라진레 수렴양 메게와 빵와 게웨라진레 제우야 지바레 차진 라떼네 제우 탈도가 산지게 공방레 수렴 라떼네 제우 탈도가 산지레 가상가도 누르베가서 송송 네 누르와 탐진침비 이시인 송거와 데드 수렴대 탐진침에 산지기 이시 수렴대인 송거래 데는 탈도 연도잖아 산지기 이시래 데인도 제우 차나야 지바래 데네 주의 차나야 지바래 착친게 또바 양다바 주를 제버 제발라 라마 양다바 지라 무규체도 침바지 고요래 수렴 양다바지 차야라 라마 체다 데마지라 무규 양다바지 고요래 데인도 전에 텐제게 토네 데네 착친당 수렴예보데 모오 주 제우 대나신 젤레 다 니가게 젤레데 지반념 바파 뽕으로 제베게 젤레로와 데인도 전에 젤레 간지 토네 데네 내가 찍라 파파 지인고레스 덴도보더니 차친 수렴 네 찍라 증캔데 단지된 송고 마도 이요 말하잖아 페이지라만 리기로와 라마 공만남베 차친 수렴 네 찍라 쯔쯔게 요르데 이나야지 카세우 토네 줌센의 집에 돈을 사실 난게는 제된 송고 차용도 전에 그런 제된 송고가 제주 차로 그러대.
Here the 13th Vajra verses. Mahamudra and discipline have a single vital point. This is Jigten Sungyen's unique teaching. So, as we have stated last time, a few points about it. It means about the Mahamudra and the vows. Has the same vital importance, has the same status or same points. Usually, what we have in our mind is that when people talk about the Mahamudra, we think about the very highest level of talk. We think about the highest states. We think about if we practice this one highest level of things, and it's like, we should be able to have a highest level of, the result, and so on. And when we talk about the vows, we look down upon that, and we talk about, its nature is a little bit lower. It has a lower quality, and its activities and its, the character and so forth, such kind of lower. This is how we take it usually. And what Lord Jigten Sungyen stated is, no, this is completely misunderstood. These two things, Mahamudra and the vows, are actually the same importance, has the same importance, whether it is whether it's their actions, whether it's their character, or whether it's their the result, the same. And also the Buddha has stated the same thing. And it is something like that. For example, if these two things has the same importance, same birds, two wings of the birds. For example, if the birds were to fly, they have to have two wings. Without having the two wings, they couldn't fly. If there is a defect on the one, in either one of the side, it's defect, then the bird couldn't fly. So therefore, the both side has to be level, and has to be kind of to level us, have to be the same status, and has to be in a condition to fly. So therefore, these two things, Mahamudra and vows, whether there's Mahamudra and the vows are the same thing. So for example, with the vows and with the Mahamudra, the highest views, and also with the practice, with the conduct, whether the conduct is kind of individual conduct, unless for the, at least you have to have kind of the novice vows in order to attain the Buddhahood. So with this practice, having this Mahamudra, and you're having these vows, then only you can attain the Buddhahood. For example, it is the same kind of their nature. The vows, for example, what is their nature? Their nature is the virtuous nature. For example, even the Mahamudra's nature is the vow, the virtuous action, the virtue, and also the vows has the nature of virtue. And for example, it's the result is also to become Buddha, or to all-knowing Buddha. So whether it's Mahamudra or whether it's vows, their ultimate result is to attain the Buddhahood. And also, if you talk about their causes and conditions, their causes and condition is also the faith, or to a devotion to their master, the unwavering devotion, as we have talked last time. So the devotion is also having an ultimate devotion. Their causes is also the devotion to their masters, and in the right way. And their activities also same, because their activities is to allow to practice the virtuous one and try to avoid the non-virtuous one. So from this point of view, these Mahamudra and vows has the same status according to the Lord Jigten Sungyen. And so far, from all these masters except Buddha, Jigten Sungyen is the one who tried to make it so unique of these teachings that the Mahamudra and discipline or the vows are the same status. Lasola.
단 딘데 드네 차체인데 좀 내지버테 산제기 공부 임베 좀 생양 드네 산제기 탄다 도 땡인증이 제분도 나와 드네 가르송 말에서는 드는 도 땡인진 세인도선 또 차자 첨부기 이시 송거와 땡도 차자 첨부기 드네 따와 양다바지 줄라 제다 메제세야데 수tum 양다 유밀라 레요 송도와 텐도 수tum 답은 거라 텐도데 송에 수tum 답부 연경이 강사직이 줄라 드네 차자 첨부기 땡인증이 제보돼야 요레스 대송도 전에 답배지 차ချင်း기 또배기 예시세고나엔다 띵인진 대 드네베 수tum 양다바던 저와슈 첨부여가 즉 대송용도와 띵인진 본도나 드네 디나신도 단단디 외송규시변 도가나라 다 외송규시변도데 배치 권직기 권초직변난 건 도지그래 띵인데 외송규시변 도나 가르송 발스는 드네 계시 주라 드네 제다 드루안의 송베 게롱당 게줄게 템나 소바트네 지기 돌아 테스지 다송 템로지 송가제 야 성민나라 당진당 딘진 슈침부터데 지여 나베 다추름 장마인 섬는 나제 슈침부터데 지여 바이나 추랑게 추름데 추름마다바 찬루레스 테인도 전에 추름 양타바지 차구여나 추랑 송외기 추름 데라 따와 양타바 지기네 심바고레 yes what in the song you're taking the zane that tea long tini to jig chen some down the zane then it's charging to neji is a tea and the power what in the in the zane sanje kian dan dona the song man shin chen then you think song when the that cheju on the chen do charging to neji cheber chu say a teach one
And in additional that Buddha has stated in the the sutra, that is the Dhyana Sutra, Dhyana Raja Sutra. It is stated that the Mahamudra like Mahamudra, for example, in order to have a Mahamudra, to have the state of Mahamudra, a perfect state of Mahamudra, depends on one's own person, individual, that he has a like a prime conduct, a very like a perfect conduct, perfect vows or not. It depends on whether he has a perfect vows or not. And also, if you look about the sutra, which has like like asking question by Kashyap to the Buddha, and it is stated that even if you have, like in the sutra, it's stated that even if you have good vows or practicing the good conduct, but somehow if your mind is overpowered by the ego, then it is stated that it's not a perfect vows or perfect practice of the Sila. So therefore, in this kind of condition, it has to be associated. It has to be supported by the view of not grasping to that kind of such kind of a practice or such kind of vows. So usually what happens is people, when you are having a little practice of the vows, and you have an ego that you are practicing these and that and all this. So therefore, it shouldn't be here in this case, we should not have to have that. So therefore, this kind of vows should be corrected or to be purified by the right kind of views. The right kind of vows should be conducted by the right kind of views. So therefore, these two things, Mahamudra is associated with the like a right conduct, and right conduct should be associated with the Mahamudra. So therefore, these two things are in the same importance and the same status. That's all.
알았어. 아니 단단디다 도성 주비지 받으러와 도성 주지 받에 차신 연된 건지 난이 돼서야 돼. 단내니 파산노지 단도도 자는 건도 차자 첨부 세야 되라. 뭐그 전에 이어와서 개치야 요 말에도 있나야. 지다 먼저 시야다 녀야기 주실 전에 직시에 연도 자는 그 차친나 이어와 이제로지 제로와 이제 차자 첨부 세야지. 람 차자 첨부 세야지 대우 차자 첨부 세야지 텐소 송가 시에자베기 빼자되라 용 차자 첨부 세야지 같은 데기 차칭 명 차자 첨부 유외기 내 당들가 되는 건도 이와 시엔도지 채용거로 다 되는 용 차자 첨부 디파 야고 송라비 초로와 빼체게 초로로 용 차칭 세게 배는 건도인데 뎁징뉴 차칭 그렇게 뎁징뉴와 있는 게 차칭 뉴인 세게로와 원에 차제 전부는 요대야도 개요마다 있는 차징게 빼자되는 차징에서 랍되기로와 인류중 차징에서 당 원에게 차제 전부 써야 되라다 예 람되고 숨쉬는 거로와 인류단에 되네 단 대우 차제 전부 써야 돼 배치 연den게 상신 임바데 주로 정말 배치 직주인지래 지과 연구래 대우 차징에서도 주고를 고구로와 산지 주고 써야 되다 연대 탐제다 된 배상신지 인류단에 배치 제시자당 지과를 때 이내야 다 이제 자자 전부서야 대돈의 상호지 당원도 전에더니 남주 가르세그레서나 지 이제 차칭에서나인다 이제 오마서나인다 이제 조과 전부서구나 간들 이제서야 지요와 이 이제데 난소 나랑 쪽에 갑라 이제서게래 나랑 조 소소지고 갑기 semgeran신텔라 이제 차칭에서나인다 이제 조칭에서나인다 이제 오마서나인다 된다 따사디 나랑 조 semgeran신텔레 소소지고 갑기 semgeran신텔라 디 인도자네 테네 텐데게 semgeran신데 테네 카셰게 송 인도자네 단단 나랑 조 semgeran신나 산제게 연대 요 말에서게 단단 나랑 조 산제 말에 산제게 연대 요 말에서 이내야 단대게 semgeran신 들라 때네 마음바기 테네 연대인데 톱도 그래스 다 두서 정보지기 돈데 상호방에 테네 대시지 나용 거예요 된두 이 자자 진보 써야 돼 연된 예바당 매백은 다 탐제다 자와레스 데스지스게 근데 람 자자 진보 써야 돼 코로나 연된 요새 말에 코로나 연된 dum케네 있어게 그람 자자 진보 때 냠술 랭도 전에 델라 때네 마음 바란데고 도그레스 다 텐데서 못하는데 전에 이제다 람기 자체니보다 연된 안신 예반도 지금 대신한 게 면도와 I think about 지지기 처리로 지래
So here now, when you talk about the 14th Vajra verses, Mahamudra has the nature of all the qualities. It talks about the nature of Mahamudra. Actually, the nature of Mahamudra couldn't be talked. It's not something that we could talk about it because it's an emptiness and we couldn't talk that. But somehow, when you talk about it, we have to talk about it. And we talk about in the 4 categories, like the Mahamudra on the basis, and Mahamudra on the path, and Mahamudra on the result, and also the Mahamudra of the tax or the like text means in the sense the teachings that were compiled in the book and so forth. Usually the 4th one, the tags, which we are known as the Vajra, this Mahamudra, it's not actually the Mahamudra, but we gave the name Mahamudra. Actually, this is just a tax, but somehow we used to give the name the Mahamudra. So there is no question about when you talk about the result. Actually, the result Mahamudra is actually the nature of all qualities. There's no question about all the lineages of the in the Tibetan lineages, 4 lineages. So like the result Mahamudra is the Dharmakaya, and it consists or it's endowed with all the qualities of the Buddhas and so forth. So there is no question about these things. But when you come in the terms of the base of Mahamudra and the path Mahamudra, there is some kind of a suggestion and statement there. So some of the scholars, they presented that during the time of our, like when you are being in an ordinary sentient beings, so usually we take it about the mind of the nature of our mind is the nature of our mind in terms of the base foundation and in terms of the path is not it's not actually the quality of Buddha, but somehow when it goes in the future after a lot of hardship and practice, then ultimately one is able to attain the Buddhahood. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the foundation, the base, and the path is not actually all the qualities is there. All the nature of all the qualities. It's not nature of all the qualities. So whether you talk about the Mahamudra, whether you talk about the Umapa or Sokchen or whatever. So this is how they try to make a differentiation between all other scholars stated that the foundation and the path has not all the qualities. Only the last one, only the third one, that is the result one, which is the Dharmakaya, has the nature of all these things. That's all.
Tatene dinen jirin song kar song bar sidu sane tene chachen yunde kunji dani songwa tate songdu sane je chaja chimbo se de kanyang mebe tongba kata tongba tongja chi mares kanyang sana je ngarang zu sosu jiwo yimbe kabla yang semge ranshin la sanje ge yunde yongsu zobate penna Nyima timbe dip debe kaba yang Nyima korona vezir yoyo kare. Ranzo pena zambul lengi nane suru shacho ki jarkab ndo chigla Nyima de pa nupcho ki jarkab lan roso na shacho la Nyima vezir de pog mare te yina ye Nyima korona vezir yoyo kare chado yorwa. Din anshin chene ta tanda nga ranzo namto tang Nyomong peki timba tupu chigi tane kabde yore te yina yang tane Nyima ranshin ki simga ranshin te devara shibi nimbu te la sanjegi tane godang yishi yonde tamche te ranshin lundubu suji kuna yores te yindu zane tane yi chaja chenbu yonde nga danyi res te nanshin do tane chaja chenbu saya teyang yila yoba te lamdu lame ngote ne yi simga ranshin te sanji chugu yinba te lame ngote ne yodu zane 대 냠술 렌드 냠술 랑제기 되는 람기 찾아 전부 대양 되는 연대 라신 손주기 되는 단위 진지레스 되는 대구 가서 딱고 연대 돈 상망원도 줄도 요와 근데 인자 이슬람 대숨기 되는 찾아 전부 탐제대 연대기 라신 레마도베 가실레 연대 맹게 되는 게 말해서 대송발에
So here now, at this point, what the Lord Jigelsmin stated is that when we talk about the base or the foundation of the Mahamudra, it is not something which is like kind of empty and it's nothing there. It means when we talk about the base, it talk about our own mind, the ultimate nature of mind, which is the Buddha nature. So therefore, from this perspective, what Lord Jigelsmin stated is that from the very beginning, at the base level, our mind has the nature of all the qualities. And in the same way, like, for example, like the sun is obscured by the clouds for the time being, but it doesn't mean there's no like kind of radiation for the sun or the sunlight is not there. It doesn't mean that. It's just temporarily being obscured by the cloud. Whereas it doesn't matter where the sun goes from east to west, if it shines there, but the sun has its own light. In the same way, our mind is never like kind of obscured by the so ignorant and so forth. Therefore, our mind, since on the base level, is with all the qualities, and at the same time here, even during the time of the path also, because when we are practicing this one, our path is also free from all these kind of qualities. So the path is also has the nature of all the qualities. Of course, there's no question about the result, because result, as we have talked, since it's a Dharmakaya, it has its all the qualities. So from this perspective, like when you like from the very beginning, it is the Buddha nature. From the very base, it's Buddha nature, so it has all the qualities. And in terms of path, because you are practicing the Mahamudra, and it's the practicing Mahamudra in terms of, then it has all the qualities of that nature of all the qualities, and ultimately in terms of the result, it has its all the qualities. So it is for this reason that Lord Jigten Sungmin stated that all Mahamudra has the nature of all the qualities in terms of base, in terms of path, and in terms of the result. That's all.
Oh yeah. 다 단다 공도 찾아 전부도 윤땡게 다니레스. 나랑 솔로 찾아 전부 요래. 근데 인자 나랑 솔로 산지게 윤데 차선 요래. 대송 바로 다 대송도 자는 것도 삼노지 당구로 산지게 윤데 요는 아주 강연들의 가르친 양대 요래. 난주로 동행들의 가르친 양대 요래. 난좀 코벤나 가르치는 참되게 요래에서야 지요로. 이 인디자는 다 대라 되네 단단네 돌송 종아바다 주루반이 되네 대송용거 다 뒤튼다대. 냐 가르송용거 요래에서 인디자네 제단 나랑조 성기라는 신데 산제 대야 현대 탐제된 같은데 지금 레드 요래데 이네 나랑조기 원남도 되기 되네 요르당 셰바스네더니 중진 이순진 다단신 이순진 텐두 야보텔라 따마시 두자장장라 따대와 인정 코로안 참용거였대 프루용거였대 아 추드네 성경 오라 주다 신경 요말에 파칠로라 성경 남발라 따대기요 텐두 테네 성경 남발라 단담다 마모 한기로 송송 가장 그런데 죽은 랑게 섬낭장 송버와 고와단 양에는 대비 준담을 샤용거였대 어 텐데지는 프루용거요와 다티지도 전에 랑라 예배기 드네 연된 등조다 배주제 도구 말때 뺀나 땅보치기 코랑기 캉바기 워드나 앞에 노르부 야능물 딱골pe 통출 망보던데 지 거기 강배 원래 예바 있나양 그데 예바 하마오나 꼬방고 방장하시는 동행 양대로 계속 그때 하고와 있는 그때 비주는 고추고 차로야 용도와 이나신 인도전에 나랑조 선배라는 산제 연된 군대 된데지 레드 요르때 대인바 문제 마투 대인바 마시 대인바 마곰 되네 남도기 찜바토부 정책대도 전에 되네 자신 연된 란신 바되게 되네 마펜바 임바래 다 된다오디 연된 조주 문든 줄이야라 다 가르고래 세야지로와 대지도자는 다디 연된 문든 줄이야라 이시기 초사는 검자고래 소놈게 초사는 저두고요래 대인도자네 단디 도성니보 되게 소놈고 초는 이시기 초니 싸마토바이나 자신 연된게 다니 임바지고 개팽 말에 세야 대소는 거요래
So here above we have stated that the Mahamudra, the great Mahamudra, is endowed with all the qualities. Now here question arises. The Vajra verses 15 and 16 talks about the cautions, and it stated that if that is the case, if we have all the qualities, nature of all the qualities in terms of the Mahamudra and the base and in the path and also in the result, then why are we always in the problem? We are suffering all the time. We don't have to suffer that if that is the case. And why do we have to suffer all this? This means here, generally, we all have our own Buddha nature, and also we have like a clear light and so forth. But somehow, because of our misunderstanding, or the duality, part of duality, the oneself, self and others, and also the outer and inner objects. And also usually we don't look upon our inner quality. We are just looking to the outer object and try to collapse there and try to explain that and try to fall off the outer object. And that's how we get collapse here. And we don't know the quality that exists within oneself. So this is the problem. And it stated that, for example, it's like a poor person who has a jewel or the gold in their house underneath their home, but they don't understand. They have gold inside under their house. So it's something like that. So we, if we don't recognize our own ultimate nature of mind or the Buddha nature, then this is how we are in the suffering. Then it is stated that we even if we have the Buddha Mahamudra, what and all the qualities, what is the requirement? Then it is stated that we have to have the two accumulation. That is the accumulation of wisdom and the accumulation of the merits. These two has to come into the account. Otherwise, even if we have a kind of Mahamudra, and the great Mahamudra and perfection of Mahamudra doesn't make any sense. And these two, all the nature of the qualities, Mahamudra, the nature of all the quality has to be ripened through the accumulation of merits and accumulation of wisdom. So this is very important. Lasu.
Tati indusane pena ngaran sogetene at tanda nga yosane gondarwa inde Nyima tongmendu tichidusane kandar nga sani Nyima tonyala chachini changurwa nge Nyime jingurdon tonyala je gargo urusana tanda nga yose gisego ta ngaran dese gin zamling dodonde tange taban tazong ge penda 지신의 용세바를 지신의 용메시바를 간다베 용메시베 베다 타니 오이베 베지잖아 드렌 생기 주도 중이라 잠랭데 꼬라자야게 롱데 메와 차소나 잠불는데 코르기 말와 나저 데세긴 잠랭데 꼬라자 두고 말와 계시 롱데 가소이나 다데 용다 세기 말와 되는 계시 용세베 본도다나 롱데 망가네 롱데 왕기 잠랭데 저는 꼬라자 되가지 구루와 산이 쇼게니만 통야라 니바텔라 가르고레스나 산이 쇼게 꼬라자벤 네 야와 이나양 파이 니말라 dimken기 tim바토보지 요소마이나 난저 님의 지금 통통 말와 디시두산에 산이 쇼게기 님의 지금은 통야라 다지단다 고차칭 망보지 구레데 데네 찍네 단 잠닝 콘켄기 롱게 슈데 요아지 니바텔라 데네 니말라 dimken기 tim바데 메와직 차나 당가 산이 쇼게 딱다 nga랑 저기 님의 지금은 통투고 요별와 데네 주조니 지고도 베티나신도 데네 tim발레 콘네 남가 짱짱 요와 있는 님의 지금 ser부전 통용한 안신 전에 데네 냠자 템보지고 그래스 냠버샤레 연대 탐진 중 송외다 Ngaranzo semgeranshin chaja chingbu yobate lame ngote ngarangi ngoshe tola gongu yores nyambra jagu yores nyambra kase jawa ina tegi ngaranzo la dip dengengi timba nashin namto no sang de kale pa tangro yorete ben chu ba tende ji kesi changma zogu yuna ta tingsang do jina ko log changma zo du le thawro numa do jina chode zoba de nuna yagu ro chu zu jingni lu sen yagu re ne ko chode kale zoba changma ma deng do re ne changma de ya thoga le ngro wa tin ko yagu do pe de na jin do nam to gi timba na jin de pa thorya gi che do nyambra yagu yo re tin du nyambra yagu de la tene ne yuen de tamche jong yong yo re tin du 주직래 다양 계시 냠샤기 곰직부 잠네 소놈게 초 마사와이나 그냥 연대 차창원이 톡톡 말해 연대 차창원이 용야라 야 지토게 초사고 그래 땡도 도성 주루바데기 존네 마두 연대 종메시 송도 주루부레스 다 디가 위조데 소놈게 초사고 그래 송게래 단지바나 잠는 꼬라 장경이 롱되기 사고도 롱되고도 대난신 전에 근데 남칼 팀바메와 지보연고 팽게면도 대다 냠돈 잠는 꼬리아가 롱되 양고 난신 전에 냠샤 지부기 양 연대 차상하지 도둑 말에 대인자 냠버를 잡발라 되네 연대 중거래데 다동 연대 푸숨 소바 자야게 제도 지토그 가서 주두고레스 주 소놈게 초 사고다 짐바탄고 그래 주름송고 그래 저바공고 그래 준비 제고다 된데 간다지 주용스 저바지 두고래 저야 대송바래 대마도 주마도 바이나 양연된데 중원든 종식이 말레스
So, for example, like this is an additional description for that. For example, if I'm here for today, and here it's dark, but somehow, if I were to see the sunlight tomorrow, there has to have two different things. The condition, I have to have two different conditions. One is that I need the wind energy, whereby the wind energy can turn over the world and to make possible to see the sun. And other thing is that like they should not have a cloud. If there is cloud, then I couldn't see the sun. Even if the wind is there, wind energy is there, which can turn around the world completely to the side of the sun. But at the same time, if there's cloud, then I couldn't see. So in order to see the sun, for example, if I were to see the sun tomorrow, I have to have these two conditions, that the wind energy, which can turn the world, and also the sun is free from the clouds. And in the same way that like our mind has to be in a meditative equipoise. Why? Because if we don't have this meditation and settle down all our conceptions, then our concept will not allow us to see the reality, to see the nature of our mind. Why? Because it acts as like kind of the clouds in the sky and to obscure the sun. In the same way, our conception also obscures us to see the reality within oneself, the nature of our mind. So therefore, the meditative is needed. For example, like meditation is needed. For example, in the past, what we do is like, if we try to have a clear water, we have to get the water and put in the container and they have to keep there for some time, try to settle down all the dust, sink down and settle there. Otherwise, we don't have like a clear water and to see the clarity. So in the same way, we have to have our meditative equipoise, try to clarify all the conceptual thoughts and events and so on. And other thing is that we have to have the merits, accumulations of merits. And the accumulations of merits is like something like wind energy, which can turn over the world towards the side of the sun. So therefore, these two things has to be there, the accumulation of wisdom and accumulations of merits. For example, like we have to have like kind of the perfection of the giving, the perfection of the sila, the perfection of the morality, the perfection of the patience, the perfection of the effort, and perfection of the meditation, and so forth. These are all required to have in order to have that kind of like the perfect Mahamudra to be, to have the nature of all the qualities. And also, this will help us to understand better and to how to become a Buddha. Lasula.
뭐야? 근데 다 되게 제라 dursun chubden ba to so tela tene tongni to na junde ni to dang se ya tere ta di kar sung yore sen de ne tene ta ga namju tongni to so sam gen de yo ma ta ke si tongni to so sam ba yin na tongni to na de un de ji gu le se ta di tongni to yue de me gi yi se ta ya ten de da yi se ge chum de de ta de du je da tene tongni ko zam ji tongni to ba se 제주도 참고 말와 돈이 양다와지 또 유바 있나 근데 가르쳐래 생전에 준제니도 당그레 손도 당세도 전에 준제게 토라 이친할래 슈체와지 제용그레스 준제게 토라 냠뇽할래 슈체와지 제용그레스 돈이 문에 또 유나 대마도 돈이 또 유삼 돈이 또 유스 켈렌 준제게 토라 이친양매 junrege tola tonhaya mewa ina te toni tobegi tela chugu mares te toni tobegi kochugu mares o te songbar ti indi zane tene shiwala gi junju gi nangla junju peche liu dinarwa sherab liu nangla tene toni tobegi chele niyu songwere shiwala gi chele garin niyu resana rangi tona sanu tawa ina rangune sanu tawa ina 직된 주제된 고념 투그레스 당도 강연 대야 창마디 주제에게 강연 태용 거와 또나 띠지 되바주나 가와 대토야게 치든 배전 제바 띠에서 매바지 땅요나 근데 베스 먹가와 배지 녀바 자야게 년가 대명외기 직다 탐람 대대나신 준노롱주 년나 가와 마니나 먹가와 라소바 당도 남준 직된 게 주제에서 야지 소야 요르와 대인도 전에 돈이 되는 문에게 지 또가지 줄에 니송아이나 그런 직된 주제인 거 힘도 그래스 대인도 직된 주제에 대한 문에잖아 지로그 빠빠한다고 지르다 나로데 말에 난좀 참sam디도 가세다 자손도 지를 빼잖아 자손이 치로라 발람 담을 망보도와 발람 첨보 요래 충충 요래 발람 통보 요래 담을 망보로와 제데이나 자수 딩 무마들 랍치는 요 말을 쓰기도 요와 매바 쓰기도 베테나 신인도 전에 간준 직된 주제당 다지 남자 준기 나랑서 류가 예수님의 죄바 탐제의 치로기 발람난신 지르모도 운에 나로기 힘부터 말와 나로기 힘부 뭐마데 죄 탐제라신 동반이 세야티 차로로와 어티제인도 전에 딱 문에게 돈이 양다버져 또 요나 근데 치로기 발람난신기 근데 직된 주제의 레와 직된 주제의 제도 되는 배전 등소 참마데 되는 매화직 차도 그래 스트리 배지고 요래서 말다 대등한도 남주 이슈와 난신의 그 강에다 요러 참마데 주제의 소용과 주제의 제도다 레간다마다 제고래 레간다마다 제도는 당체 연구요래 되니지 재산의 선호 당화이나다 배지 갈수그래 섬납동에 르른 나산다마나 마부죠 소용과 대체인도 전에 되는 돈이 또 봐이나 랑긴 된도 직된 취재인 거념 두그래 시월에 찍대 송도와 근데 니바들 가르송요에서는 젠던도 제완hin지 전부 랑신기 제와 송바다 돈이 양 다바죠 또인도 전에 대들 마도 빼기 심천라命令 hin지 쇼차고 지그레스 빼는 안좀 참참 엔데 용거와 Ngola don't watching Musung and Gola po you are in. But Nasa Kase you made in Soso with a young Tarwa. Young Tarduzani mission dala. Tenechi Ngola dopon Genchila Samotana Tis, Ninja, Le Salvador. Tate Modachidan Golo dopo, Machado, Niji, Jiggy, the Inaya, shoot out with Jigmando, Kansan Golo dopo, and Nasa Kanda, you mentioned go to Marwa Sosuge. Sosuge Tendeg and Nasa in Yong Jela. Tenejela, Teneji Chung to Zane, some no day, Koji Jewondo law on the Zane, some no throw the shoot tying door, or Tenanshi in Duzane, Tene, Tony Matove, Gange, Tony Matone, Dunge Yungi Yuba Tendeji, Chen to Zane, Then soso Tony to Dunge Tamchile troll. Then Tony Matobo Wangi, Dunge Yungi Yubaji Shea to Zane, then Samchen Namla Mine. Ninji Chamber Ranjing Jeto was Chai with his Tony to win Deutela, what the Sondua, Tichi Zane, then Tanan Deneyang, Tony Tona, Junjini to Dang, said Tesumbarda.
17 verses. If emptiness is realized, that itself arises as causes and condition, causes and results. Sorry. So what it means here is like when it gives us like kind of investigation, whether one has realized the emptiness or not. So this is a demarcation of trying to understand whether one has known the emptiness or not. So when we talk about the understanding of realization of emptiness, so usually when we talk about the emptiness, like we say that we have realized the emptiness. Usually when we are realizing the emptiness, it's just on the superficial level. For example, like when we understand, even if we understand at the superficial level, it is possible to actually calm down oneself from all this kind of the 8 different kind of the worldly things. For example, so like for example, like it can suppress our the worldly things. Like for example, sometimes when people praise us, we are happy. It is sometimes people disgrace us, then we are unhappy, and so forth. Also, like if we get something, like kind of the things, like if we get something, then we are happy. If we lose something, then we are not happy. These kind of things, then these are all known as there are 8 different kind of worldly things. So we get stuck, we get caught up in these 8 worldly things. So what happens if we try to, if we were able to understand at least, to realize at least some kind of understanding of the emptiness, this could put down the problems. So therefore, if this is actually suppressed down, then what happens is one could able to have some kind of peace, some kind of happiness within oneself. So for example, like these kind of things are all like kind of the fluctuation of the waves of the ocean. And when we talk about the ocean and the myths in the depth of the ocean, it is stated that it is so stable and so tight there. But somehow when you look at the superficial level, on the outside level, the waves of the ocean is so fluctuating, ups and downs and so on and so forth. So therefore, in the same way, right now, our understanding of emptiness or emptiness is something like that. So sometimes, fluctuated, like sometimes when you get something, then you are happy. When you lose something, then you are sad, and so on and so forth. And because of that, we do a different kind of things, like, and we caught up into different kind of condition, causes and condition, and then we get into the problem. So therefore, the Shantideva stated that the one we have the understanding of emptiness is something kind of superficial, but somehow it could be able to depress or suppress some kind of the 8 different kind of worldly concern. And this is the first thing, this is the first thing we will have it, even if we understand or realize the understanding of the emptiness. And the second thing is the second quality is that, so after having understanding these, one have a strong sense of compassion to other sentient beings. Why? Because one have already realized, by realizing the emptiness, then one feel compassion to other sentient beings. But one could able to see that all other sentient beings have a problem because of not understanding, because of not realizing the emptiness. For example, it's something like that. If we see somebody hit by the stone, then if you oneself didn't hit by the stone, then one will not realize how difficult the situation or how painful this problem is. But if one have already had this kind of experience by hitting the stone, and at the same time, by having that experience, if one sees somebody else getting stone on their head, one could feel a strong sense of experience, the strong feelings, strong sense of feeling that, you can't bear it. In the same way, one could feel like a strong sense of compassion to other sentient beings because they are also suffering because of not knowing the emptiness. So these two things, one is like one could able to suppress or depress the 8 worldly concern. And the second one is that one could have a compassionate mind to other sentient beings.
다테네 도르송 좁제 받을도와 또된라야 탑담답을 보래 소야데 당간조 남주인 차체인데 추루스네 니용고 요로와 대치도 전에 단단데네 지된 송공의 송백이 고름난신 체나 당봉문에 차제 진부 또바줄은 예바지 조고레스 된대게 차제 진부 또바줄은 예백이 강사지기 되네 옌돈 드베기 체도 되네 주루 냠는 난고레 세 대송거다 또된 라양 송도와 오늘 차제 진부 내루 또 이내야지 자롱 된수 돌아 이스 가스고레지 네 당연한 남주 누르제 지선 송을 제발라 준주도야 당 다텐데 망부지 송고요와 대인도 자롱기 냠는 된소라 때네 근데 준주드비야 문시 드비야라 소바트데지 난고 서레 대인도 전에 차제 전부 또바 줄라 뎀바 짬지 근데 야지 준주도 тө백 니바테 페체 용 매서레 준주도야라 야 자롱기 장바 용켄지 고유들이 대치도 전에 차제 전부 또바단 뎀베게 되네 또된 tunsuke yang nurje yin jisun zimbarchewe chedo tablamge nyamne te yang labordo gures temodo ota chaja chimbo toba jule chesamda henda ke go mares ne yatne yo mare soya tere
Here the 18th verses, even for a realized one, the path of method is especially necessary. So what it means here is like, usually when we are having a Mahamudra practice, and first and foremost is when you have to have the understanding and realization of Mahamudra. And thereafter, one should also have to have the 6 yogas of Naropas and so forth and so on. Why? Because once you have all this kind of understanding and realization, then why do we do these 6 yogas of Naropas? And it's just try to practice or just try to, these 6 yogas Naropas help us to bring our, like kind of, the channels and vein energy to function, to works, and it also helps us to show us the miracles in order to bring other followers towards the path of the practice. So therefore, in order to bring other sentient beings towards, to follow the other, follow the practice, to bring other sentient beings, draw towards the practice, we need to have all these things, the practice of the 6 yogas of Naropas. Otherwise, this is not really possible. So therefore, after having the Mahamudra, one should have to practice the 6 yogas of Naropas and so forth. Lasola.
Atene dorsum jugubade. Rikju chedum papa means. Taya sangha kauzo china jubate la report jugu juba says swing biro. Report jugu juba song the something kashegi report jugu juba tela. Then karsung virusana. Ji zangmada zobegi namto meba. Cheda pawata juba swayando. Tene semgenala chajilla so kaya meba. Nyumba najing juba sayando. Tena shendu sujilan jita meba. Singing juba sayando. That negi juba damana mambo song yure. That into tensoyan rede. That rikjugi nangne. Ripoturjugi juba nangne. Juba chebodon paushudi. Juba yakshude. Jitenga tona shenaya. Nyoda meba. Chugi tona shenaya. Tenezi nyamleya. Kixelda pondon yago chayagi juba. Yakshude karsana. Tene tsurum tsangma sonya tere. Stan jiten songogi. Ripoturjugi juba yashude tsurum sonya tere. Sombare.
The 19th Vajra verse is the superior conduct of realized awareness is discipline. So what it means is like, usually when they are saying like, when you have to practice, you have to go beyond the practice of clean and unclean and so forth. So this is also one way of practicing. And also there's like kind of one goes beyond the fear and unfear and so forth, which means it talks about practice like a lions and so forth. Whatever it is, the practice, then also like what it says is like when you reach to a certain stage, you have to behave like a lion, that to come out from fearsome, and you have to go beyond that fear and unfear, and also you have to go beyond the cleanliness and uncleanliness and so forth. But whatever it is, these are the kind of the practice the people it was stated there. But what Lord Dickinson will state is that the ultimate discipline, ultimate awareness, the superior conduct is the discipline. So therefore, the superior conduct of realized awareness is discipline. So therefore, the vows is very important. This is the supreme conduct of all the rest of the other practices.
Tene dorso nishuba. Shusum mete nyanan chebar me sondo. Tate sondo zane. Tayanji tawan tombola pedenkengi lama tendegi jubala yang sam bena jase shiwala nanji jubana ki tende yobare. Mixegi teneji tal nungagi chawa kanyan nangi mewa do yoro pan jedu zane. Nalenda le jube kausun shiwala nalenda le piyagi tadik cherwa. Kanyan kong lega che nangi yomarwa. Nye de yore. Tene shela chuga pigi yore. Tene sanchuga chik pigi yore. Te mayin bata peche nye dewa nanshi ngarang so pa jewa ina. Niku dewa nanshi chane shu nangi dewa. Tene nalenda le piyagi chashi cherwa. Tati indu zane tentegi juba tela kare sungu yore sana. Tumegi juba segir zina namju. Juba kanya mewe juba. Tati chidu zane tumegi juba tanzo la. Tene chi Tumegi jubal nana tene legaji kaya mewa naji. Tene ji samu tangdo wa. Saya, nyeya, Tene chik tes chilo lan roya, roncha nyanduk, sta jolam tenso mato shinda ke mewa rochi ngunzen nangi yore. Adana jikten songon ki shiwa lan nanshin ki tumi ki jeba lan nenken ina yang, sem ki tola nyamlen ki chu sum ngibar gu yores. Kesi sem ki tola nyamlen ki chu sum meba ina, tene tumi ki jeba nanken tenso tikchen chagi mares. Tene du tumi ki jeba nanken chi ina yang, sem ki tola nyamlen ki tamcha sum ngibar gu re, songbare. 대 매나 년한테 제브라메스 다 담자 좀 생에서는 제 가르고 그러스나 디 드르벤나 송반나시레 디바찌 메자싱 디바찌 메자가 담자 개원 포숨 소바 찌에 송반나시 개원 포숨 소바 드베기 담자 만들어와 디 돌아다네 심첸라 닝지 메방와 심첸라 드네 제와 닝지 첨부 제바 오다 텐데기 냠는 게 추숨데 듀메기 쥐발하는 게 텐속이 투기 나와는 냠네디 고레스 대신 시와라라인 대송은 냠네디 니바도 요레스 요사레 말이 주나도 준주다나 하고 그래서 말데 이제 대송은 어 대인도산에 듀메기 쥐발하는 게 있나야 추숨 니바도 냠술랭 고레스야다 대송 말에 어디 인체 대기 드는 알아서 대랭기 주된당 드네 다금 주변 내두게 값 두바 어다 자상지 드네 차와인
The 20th was reverses. If one is not endowed with the three Dharma practices, one is not different from listener and self-realized Buddhas. What it means is like, for example, when one reach to the highest level of the practice, for example, the high level of the view and so forth. And sometimes people like act like kind of the Shantideva, like we are commonly known the Shantideva, you know. What happened was he was nearly kicked out from the Nalanda University. The reason why is that when we look at him, we see only three things: eating, then walking or defecating or sleeping. These three things. So that's why we don't know what is there in the quality within him, and people are trying to kick him out. But somehow we don't see the inner quality of such person. But what Lord Gyaltsen stated is that even if a person like a Shantideva should have to have three different kind of the Dharma practices. That is the practice within our mind. And these three things are the first one is that one should not do all the evils, not doing all the evils. And the second one is to accomplish all the practices of do all the virtuous deeds. And the third one is like kind of the compassionate, loving kindness and compassion to all other sentient beings. So if somebody asks, if we see that the Shantideva, to have whether the Shantideva have these three qualities or not, we should have to look at the Bodhicharya Avatara. So then we can know that. Then we would know that whether this person is not. Otherwise, if you don't have these three things, then it doesn't matter even if we are in a higher level of the understanding, but we fall in the category of the listeners and self-realized Buddhas. That means the Shravakas Yanas. And we would never become Bodhisattvas Yana. So therefore, one should have to have these three things in our mind stream. And so this is up to here. We have finished all the the units of the vital points of view, meditation, and conduct. So we can stop here now.
No. Yusunti tamchi zibani tomne nibe danam pamchi jega nanchi balong chuba yesiben zolen ruwa shu lama gungam zamwara surwa chodo goze rinwara surwan de jele darjen jebara surwan Lama Dandara Mebara Chenje Lo Jambira Bavi Chidra Chemba Dam Gundo Zambo Teyang Tejin Teda Gunji Jesu Andalo Jir Gewan Denda Tamje Rando Sanje Guzun Nyebe Chenlavat Chunye Menjura Dembe Chenla Dan Gende Mechen Debe Chenla Je Chedra Nguyen Mana Drubar Sho Dadang Gonde Tham Jije Duzundu Sabadan Yube Geve Zawa Dada Simchen Tamje Nyudu Lanta Meba Yang Tabura Zobe Chanju Rambo Je Tobar Ju Je Shija Gunzi Gunchin Juji Dendri Nela Wantun De Gomba Rinchen Barje Demba Sinteba Xieju Tusam Gomben Zenjuro Je Chanju Semjo Rinpoche Maje Banam Jejuru Je Jizpa Nyamba Mebarai Kone Gondu Bevar Jo Lasso Linda Sanin Gonda Teningan Zaya Jen Jeyon.
So see you tomorrow evening, everybody.
Thank you, Khenchen La, and we'll see you again tomorrow. We have time flew. We only have 2 more sessions with you. We're looking forward to see you again tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Khenchen.
So
we need to remind everyone that on the last session, for the last class, we will start 30 minutes earlier at 7 o'clock instead of 7:30, right?
아니 슈구슈구 딜라드니 먼저 주제 체가 신경 라 촌나서 그렇지. 감중 차이 있어요. 네 공도나 드나 뭐디 슈소. 더 디시디 조고 슈죠 풀조요레스. 뭐 그래서 인지 돈에 풀조게 시대 걸어 디시 조고 슈조요레스. Some price like dollar. The digital symbol 먼저 더 진단이 마슬함 마송스. 다 가자는 진짜 디지털 symbol 진짜 상관은 소송스. 페메스야 오주서 투지시스템이 슈도.
그 소년도 간소야 되는 풀데다.
So now Khenchen La says that as the time flies, we are also flying together with the time.
Yalaso. 네. 네, 인구스랭.
Okay, so
Thank you. See you all tomorrow.
see you. So you